Hi there, this is Jane from the blog Chalking Up Success, and we're carrying on here from day one. And I'm going to give this piece a couple of coats of isolating water-based primer to stop the dark wood stain from bleeding through the paint. In my last video I talked about our free ebook which goes into far more detail, and you can download that if you sign up for our newsletter, so I won't go into too much detail about this process here. I'm just going to give this 2 light coats and I'll speed the video up for you here. Okay, this has had 2 very light coats of undercoat, and I'm just going to roughly go over, not too much, just a light sanding with 120 grit sandpaper just to smooth it off for the next coat. I'm going to paint on a light coat of duck egg blue and then a wash of old white over the top. So I've just given this a wipe down after sanding, and I found a few drips, so I sanded those away. So that's a tip, make sure you look for those and sand them away before you start the next coat. And we'll see what it's like. Quick tip for you here, when you're using a paint tray, you can line it with aluminium foil, and after, when you're finished painting, you can just throw the foil away and you've got a clean tray. Just be careful to gently press down the foil so that you don't get any rips in it, because otherwise the paint will obviously go through the tears and into your paint tray. But otherwise it's a really easy cleanup. You just get rid of the foil, throw it away, and you've got a clean paint tray afterwards. As you can see, the Annie Sloan Chalk Paint is quite thick, so you need to give the can a really good shake before you open it to make sure it's mixed up. And then I usually turn the can upside down and leave it for at least half an hour, and then I give it another good shake. And you can see that it still needs to be stirred, so if you take a stirring stick or anything really that you can stir paint with, and give the paint a really good stir until it's, and you can see when it's mixed up and it's all one color. So keep mixing until the color looks right. Then I use the same process as I do with primer to water down the paint a little bit, because I find that the chalk paint is a little bit too thick. So I make sure to add the water to the paint once it's in the paint tray and not directly to the paint in the can. It's important not to thin the paint down too much, because otherwise it will become a little bit too runny and you'll have drips all down your paintwork. So as with the primer, I find the paint works best when it has the consistency of pouring cream. With drawers like these, which have a raised edge, it's always best to start with very little paint on your brush and to gradually build up the colour. Because if you have too much paint on the brush, you'll end up with drips which will collect in the corners and set like concrete. So this way is slower going, but at least you'll have a clean finish and it will save you a lot of elbow grease later on. The media stand has had one coat of duck egg chalk paint, and it still looks a bit patchy, but that's okay because I'm going to be adding a chalk paint wash over the top of this. So if I was going to be painting it just the duck egg colour, then I would do a second coat of this and completely cover the primer, but I don't need to do that here. So I'm going to leave it there for today, and in the next video I'll show how to make the chalk paint wash, and maybe we'll even get as far as the stencil. If you like this video, don't forget to hit the like button and share it with your family, friends, or anyone you think it might help. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you soon.